So good evening, everybody, and good evening to those who are, well, good whatever it is for you who are watching on the replay. Shout out to those watching on the Acts on This TV video experience on YouTube, audio experience on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher and all that stuff. It's a brand new week. Anything could happen this week, as I say, every single week, and everything is happening at actsonthis.tv. Got some incredible stuff coming up for you guys this week, and as you can see on the bottom of the screen if you are watching on video, I'm doing something tonight this is only gonna be like available like at the most for this week. Okay, I know like there's a load of actors who watch these broadcasts and there's a load of actors who follow stuff that I do, and they just haven't, for whatever reason, and I just wish I knew what the reason was, haven't dipped their toe into actually getting a real membership at actsonthis.tv. Okay, now the website is the main hub where all of my content goes. We've got an incredible community, nearly 1,000 actors within the premium community over on actsonthis.tv, and they are getting access every single week to a closed-door mastermind session with one of the biggest casting directors, one of the biggest agents, one of the biggest writers, directors, actors in the industry, massive names. Recently, we've had on people like Daniel Mays, BAFTA-nominated actor Daniel Mays, who you'll know from Code 404 with Stephen Graham, Line of Duty. If you've been watching White Lines on Netflix, we've had some of the biggest casting directors in the industry, people like Rachel Freck, who is Emmy-winning. Rachel Freck cast things like, back in the day, Ricky Gervais's The Office, but huge stuff right now. I've had people like Jill Trevelyan, who cast Downton Abbey, does all the huge period dramas. I've had Sophie Holland, who cast The Witcher for Netflix. Other actors, we've had people like David Harewood. We had Matt Lucas on. I mean, massive names. Loads of agents as well. And we happen to have tomorrow probably the biggest agent we've had on actsonthis.tv so far from, and thanks to a member of our community as well, from Hamilton Hodell, one of the biggest agencies on earth. They look after names like, who have they got on the books? People like Tom Hiddleston, Emma Thompson, Rupert Grint, Joe Gilgan, Stephen Fry. I mean, just massive names. Daisy Edgar Jones. If you've been watching Normal People, fantastic series. And we have got one of the agents, Lizzie Ferguson, who is actually Act On This member Marcelo Cruz's agent. Thanks for the hookup, Marcelo. And she's coming on tomorrow evening to hang out with us, basically, for at least 90 minutes. We're doing a closed-door mastermind session. We're going to really tap into how the big London agents work, because this is kind of a mystery for 99% of actors. It's everybody's kind of aspiration and dream to go, you know what, at some point in my career, and let me know in the comments if this is you right now, and if you've ever thought this, because I certainly have. I don't think any actor would be just lying if we have never thought this. Right, you know what, for me to really succeed, I need to be with one of, sort of like the big 6 or 7, 8 top agents in London, people like United, Curtis Brown, Troika, Independent, Hamilton Hodell, one of those kind of agents. I mean, ultimately it is, if it's the trajectory of your career. You end up being looked after by those guys if you end up being incredibly successful. Not in every instance, but in the majority of cases, that is where actors aspire to be. And I just think it's a fantastic opportunity tomorrow night to really kind of pick Lizzie's brains on actually how those agencies really work in the real world. No holds barred. She's super lovely. I spent an hour chatting to Lizzie the other day. And I was like, you know what an opportunity for actors to try out actsonthis.tv if you haven't got a membership already. And what I've done, I've set up a page here. You can see, if you go to actsonthis.tv/trial, don't go yet because there's some conditions attached to this. When you go to that page, your IP address from whatever you're viewing it on is going to be tracked, okay? And that link will expire for you and every device you have in your house, right, or wherever you're viewing it from, 60 minutes after you've clicked that link, after you have visited that page. Because it's such a special offer. You get 7 days access for £1. You don't have to carry on with your membership if you don't want to. If you do, after the 7 days, it'll cost you £6 a week. It's a complete no-brainer. You're probably paying £25 a week for acting classes or something like that. This is £6 a week to get access to the biggest names in the industry and really learn the business of the business. But if you want to join and you want to attend tomorrow, I just thought, you know what, I'll give you the option this once, so you can even jump on the call with Lizzie. It's going to cost you £1 if you haven't joined already. Acts On This members who are on this call will know the value they're getting from their membership. But if you go to actsonthis.tv/trial, you literally have 60 minutes from visiting that page before you will be locked out of that page. It's not a bullshit scarcity tactic. It's legit. It's real. you will find you will just be redirected to the homepage no matter how hard you try to refresh and no matter how hard you try to clear your cache and get rid of your cookies. It's not doing that. It's actually tracking you on a greater depth than that to stop people taking advantage of the offer. So if you want to, actsonthis.tv, I would highly recommend you do it. /trial. Go get a membership. Kick the tires of the website literally for 7 days. Join us tomorrow night with Lizzie, and you have absolutely nothing to risk. I just want to show you how far we can move the needle in your career. Here is a message from Lizzie. This is what's going to be going on tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. UK time. Actors back once again with another incredible invite for you guys to another incredible actsonthis.tv live webinar taking place on Tuesday, the 7th of July at 7:30 p.m. with this amazing woman here, Lizzie Ferguson, agent at Hamilton Haddell, one of London's top tier acting agencies. Lizzie, thank you so much for doing this. It means the world. What are we going to be talking about on Tuesday?
I think just trying to demystify big agencies and what we do and who we are and the fact that we are normal human beings and no one should be scared or intimidated, and any questions that people have about agents and agenting and how to write to agents, all those kind of questions that no one knows who or how to ask, really.
We're going to be answering them all. And yeah, honestly, I do think actors are afraid of you guys, working right at the top of the shop. So we're going to be demystifying all of that. You are going to get the chance literally to jump on camera with me and Lizzie. You're going to be able to put your acting career questions to her, anything you like. We're going to be answering everything, basically, and anything that you think will get you further in your acting career faster. If you want to get involved with this, get yourself over to actsonthis.tv /live for full details of this webinar and future webinars. I do this every single week with a top agent, actor, casting director, writer, producer, director. Get yourself involved. We're doing some incredible stuff. Lizzie, little bit of pressure. I ask every guest this on these little teasers. Why don't actors want to miss this one?
Well, I think everyone's going to have a 2-day hangover from the pubs being opened on Saturday. So what else do you have to do?
Exactly. If you're nursing a hangover or not, it doesn't matter. Be there and be sensible in the pub. actsonthis.tv /live. We'll see you there. Boom. That's tomorrow night. actsonthis.tv /trial if you want to be there. Literally for £1. I'm never doing this again because I just think it's kind of selling myself short. But I'm just care so much about actually just pushing people into this because I just know it. I get emails every day from people telling me how much it's changed their career. And shout out to Marcelo. And I've just seen you are on this broadcast, mate. Marcelo is an actor in the actsonthis.tv community. He is a member. And very kindly, after he spoke to Daniel Mays on our broadcast recently, and then he heard me saying, I want to get some more agents on, emailed his agent and went, do you want to have a go on this? And Lizzie's absolutely lovely and went, yeah, all right then. I'll go and have a little hangout with the Acts on This lot for 90 minutes. I always say 90 minutes and then I always end up bless the guests because they're so polite, they never say anything, but it always ends up being at least 2 hours. Sometimes it's been 3 hours. I'm not saying it's gonna be 3 hours, but it could well be a 2-hour call. So yeah, that's going to be tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Ultimately, I just think it's an incredible opportunity that actors get so little chance. You don't get a chance really ever to sit down with a top agent because they're so busy. You just don't get the opportunity to do that. And we will be able to bring people, not everybody obviously, because there's going to be loads of people joining the call, but we will be able to bring people onto the camera, onto the chat with Lizzie, and actually put your you can put your questions directly to her. So there's loads going on, and you get one of those calls every week. I'll tell you what's going on next week on next week's call, but there's these happen every Tuesday and then every Thursday. So Tuesday, Thursday on alternating weeks, because I know people have acting classes and maybe not at the moment, although most are online. I think most have transitioned online, but when we certainly get back in the classroom, I know not everyone's going to be able to make every single broadcast. So let me know if you're going to be joining that. Drop me a yes in the comments now on Facebook. Let me know if you're going to be there tomorrow night. And also let me know now. Like I say, I can't promise anybody. One thing I will say, right, and I get it. I completely get it because I'd do the same thing, right? I'm getting more and more emails from members in the community saying, I know it might not be possible, but I've got the perfect question for this week's guest, etc., etc. I know everyone wants to jump on camera, But it's getting to the point now where I actually like can't even reply to them all. I used to, at the start of doing these, try so hard. I'm probably getting like 75 people going, can I jump on camera? Can I jump on camera? Can I jump on camera? If you don't get a reply from me, it's not because I'm ignoring you or I don't like you. It's just if I reply to all of those requests, which would generally be with, I'll do my best, I wouldn't actually have time to actually line up the webinar and actually do it. So I hugely appreciate every single last one of you, for getting involved with these things. But it's just really hard at the moment, being a one-man band really, to try and get back to everybody. But I will do my absolute best tomorrow night to bring people on camera who haven't been on before or haven't been on for a while, and will at least, answer questions tomorrow night. I know without a doubt that are really going to help every single person on that call, and the savvy people amongst you lot, will be making notes, and will really be learning how these agencies work, how Lizzie works, how her office works, and how the other agents within Hamilton Adele, and it's going to be very similar across the board in the other big agencies, and then you will be able to adjust your tactics accordingly, and hopefully be able to give these guys what they require from you in order just to get on the radar. And you're not everyone in the community is going to be at the level where they're going to be like, right, I'm ready to sign with one of these guys. But I think having a North Star and knowing, you're on the right path, and using these calls as like a compass to go, well, you know what, they're saying they need this, I'm working towards that, thus, I'm going to get there and then I'm going to be ready. It's just giving you direction in your career that I think so few of us have, including myself sometimes. I'm like, right, just stop. What is it right now that I want? What is it I'm going to need in order to get that? And then how do I get that thing? And sometimes we just sort of potter along, and we don't have that specificity that we need in not every area of our lives. I sat down with Ollie, I don't know if he's on here, guy who's coaching me in business this morning, and it was great just to get some clarity. Some things I've been doing in this business and in Acts on This and in my own life for many, many years, I've just done them on autopilot. And some of the things I'm like, actually, you know what? That's not moving the needle on growing this community, on growing this business, in me growing as a person. And yet it became kind of habit, like, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, what results is that getting you? Well, actually, I either can't tell because I can't measure it, and that's not a good thing. You need to be able to measure what's going on in your acting career or your life in order to know if it's working. Or no, it's not like having a huge impact. It's like, well, why are you doing it then? Why don't you either delegate that to somebody else, or try something different? So we're trying some different things. Hence why just 10 minutes before the call, I went, right, I'm going to just bloody offer a trial out tonight, see what happens. But don't get used to that. If you're not a member, take that up tonight, because I don't know if that's going to be an offer like very long at all. I'll probably talk to Ollie and he'll go, why the hell have you done that? Andrea says, I love the agent I got because of you, Ross. Well, it wasn't just because of me, but Andrea jumped on a call with an agent. We had Janet Hampson, another fantastic agent on a webinar a few weeks ago, and Janet actually took on 4 actors within the Act on This community because she met them on the broadcast. So I'm not saying that's going to happen tomorrow night and happens on every call, because of course it can't happen on every call. But yes, these calls can very often be the beginning of, a relationship in terms of at least touching base with people finding out who people are. And yeah, a lot of great things happen on these live webinars that we do every single week. So if you've not been taking part, you've been missing out massively. I think it's a mistake if you are not part of this community. That's just how I feel. It's not the hard sell. I just think you're making a mistake. We will get amazing advice from other questions, says Esther. Yeah, absolutely. I think, honestly, everybody just gets so much out of these, regardless of whether it's you who's actually on camera. Alicia says, still no luck with agent search. Maybe this is the one. Alicia, could happen. Could happen tomorrow night. Could be the one. You never know. And Chris says, have faith, Alicia. From that monologue you posted the other day, you defo have the talent. You definitely do, Alicia, without a doubt, whatsoever. You've got all the talent you need to land rep. Ollie, what do you mean? You said, like what, Ross Grant? What do you mean, mate? Let me know what that was in reference to. Alex, good evening. And Natalie, good evening as well. Absolute pleasure having you here. So we enjoyed the webinar last week with Peter Hunt, and he's going to have a dabble in voiceover. We had, not Peter Hunt, Peter Hunt's a casting director, Peter Dixon, voiceover man. Let me just show you a little bit again of what you missed out if you're not a member of the community. Here's a little mashup. We had voice of the X Factor, voice of Britain's Got Talent, probably the most famous voice in the country, talking us through voiceover. It's a big part of my acting career, voiceover. And I'm not just saying this, guys, and I keep going back, and I don't want to feel like I'm hyping, like voiceover, like as if it's some get rich quick thing. But I've got another 2 jobs this week already. It's only Monday, and I'm in lockdown, and I'm working from a wardrobe. And, you know, even when those jobs aren't super big, high profile jobs, they're still worth, they're still going to be worth 500 quid to me, right? Who couldn't do with an extra 500 quid a week in their life from setting up a microphone in the wardrobe? Like, I'm not saying you're going to get there straight away and you're just going to be able to buy a microphone and do it. That would be stupid. Of course it's not like that. That's like saying, oh, just become an actor and you'll work next week. No, you won't. But if you spend the rest of this year practicing voiceover, understanding the industry, getting involved with webinars like this, getting involved with stuff like Peter Dixon's Gravy for the Brain, the voiceover training website, members of Acts on This, get 25% off. Don't forget, if you're going to join, use the special link we give out in the webinar so that you, the discount code, so you get 25% off. But by the end of the year, even if I could say to you, well, how would an extra 200 quid a week work out in your life? It's going to pay most people's mortgages, isn't it? You know, the jobs that I'm doing this week will pay my mortgage payment for this month. And that isn't, I'm not saying that as like I don't know why I'm saying it. I'm saying it to try and inspire some people to go, I can do this. You have 70% of the skills required for voiceover if you're a good actor. But here's a little bit of what you missed. One of the most famous voices on Earth, on the planet. You will know him as voice of the X Factor, voice of Britain's Got Talent, and countless other things. It's Mr. Peter Dixon, voiceover man. Good evening, Peter.
I have had a most incredibly interesting career, but it started out, everybody comes to it from somewhere. Some people come to it from acting, some people come to it from many different professions. I came to it through broadcasting. You could equally start out doing voiceover from your relatively quiet bedroom or a quiet room in your house, simply by, using duvets and pillows. We in the voiceover industry, we call it building pillow forts.
I've recorded adverts for multinational companies in this setup, right? So just before we begin and we dive into Gravy for the Brain, don't get caught up in going, I cannot do voiceover because I don't have loads of money and I don't have a load of kit, right? Here is my setup. Look at that.
Hugh Edwards, who's a video game director, and I started this business principally to help the voiceover community, initially in the UK and now globally, because we are a truly global business in 3 continents, in order to help them educate themselves to avoid making costly mistakes in their careers.
What kind of voiceover work could I get as opposed to what you two get?
First of all, everybody's unique. That's the beauty of voice acting, is that none of us are in competition with each other at all, because we all have something unique to offer. I don't sound like you, you don't sound like me. And that's the beauty of voiceover. And there is always room for everybody in this business.
How do you approach a script?
Let's just take a commercial, for example. If I'm given a commercial script to read, I have to look at it from the point of view of the audience. So I have to ask myself the question, who am I talking to? Never in the history of voice acting has there ever been a better time to be a voice actor, because there's just so much of it around. It's a global industry now. There are literally thousands of jobs every day coming online, as we saw earlier. You just got to go out there and play in those markets and get them.
Boom. It was an awesome 2-hour chat. We had him doing the X Factor voice on many occasions when I was bringing people on camera and we were introducing them by their names like they were on X Factor. But yeah, I mean, I've chosen 2 other clips to play tonight from that broadcast, from that webinar, because there's the 2 things that I want to highlight that will be going through a lot of your heads right now. 2 really kind of like common questions that I get asked about whether people can do voiceover or not, for 2 reasons. And they're both limiting beliefs. Neither of them are true. And they're keeping people safe, and they're not pushing themselves. They're not leaving their comfort zone. They're not trying new stuff. They're doing the same thing over and over again. They're not getting a different result, and they're staying stuck. I would recommend people, at least see if they're cut out for voiceover. And one of the first questions that comes up ultimately all the time, share this, by the way. Before I play this, give me a retweet if you're watching on Twitter. Share it if you're watching on LinkedIn. If you're on Facebook, would mean the world. Before I play this clip, just share it to your timeline. Share it to another acting group if there's any acting groups you're part of, just because this will benefit any actor who watches it, because this is like such a common question. So many of you will be thinking you can't do voiceover for this reason. It's probably the most common question. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to share this. It would mean the world to me if you did, just so that people will at least see this question being answered, and they might just have a little dabble, and they might find themselves a new career, to be honest with you. 10 seconds, I'm going to play this. But you will have asked yourself this question before. I'm sure you have. When I was at drama school, this was something that came up for loads of people. Anybody who basically didn't speak like they had an RP accent or they were from the home counties came to drama school wanting to annihilate one major thing that made them them. Right. Hopefully you've shared this, but there's a question that just needs putting to bed.
What kind of voiceover work could I get as opposed to what you two get?
First of all, everybody's unique. That's the beauty of voice acting, is that none of us are in competition with each other at all, because we all have something unique to offer. I don't sound like you don't sound like me. And that's the beauty of voiceover. And there is always room for everybody in this business, because you've got a strong accent. In fact, the good news actually is that, Liz, is that regional accents and stronger accents are now very much in vogue. You just got to listen to ITV Continuity in the evening and you'll hear a whole range of accents. Channel 4 Continuity. Yeah. You'll hear Irish, you'll hear Scottish, you'll hear Midlands, you'll hear, Yorkshire. And so it's not a barrier the barrier that it once was, to work in, say, commercials or do straight narration. There's a place for you in this business as well. Okay. And that place might be in character acting, or it might be in audiobooks, or it might be in creating explainer videos for companies in the Manchester area, for instance, who need someone to talk about on their website about their new product, or explain some service that they have to people in that area. So don't think for one moment that because you've got an accent that it excludes you from doing this work, because it most certainly doesn't. It's horses for courses. There's nothing worse than watching a TV drama, is there, or some sort of content on television or radio, and listening to actors who don't come from the area doing you can spot a fake accent a mile away, as I can. The thing, Liz, about voice acting, and it's a trend now, it's been a trend for about 5 years, is that the more of you that shows up in the read, the more you'll get booked. So you should just be you. That's what buyers want, bizarrely and interestingly, is that they want authenticity now.
If you want to watch the full interview with Peter, the full deep dive, the full mastermind session, @onthis.tv / trial, basically, if you want to get your trial for £1. But when you go to that link, you only have 60 minutes to get it, and that's not sales hype or nonsense. That's genuinely that link will self-destruct when it detects that you have clicked it. You won't get a chance to get it again. So @onthis.tv / trial if you want to try everything out on the site and join tonight's live webinar. Not tonight's, tomorrow night's live webinar with Lizzie Ferguson, incredible agent at Hamilton Adele. But yeah, that was Peter talking about something I see actors getting hung up on all the time: regional accents. If I've got a regional accent, if I've got, anything, a Brummie accent, a Geordie accent, a Northern accent, an Irish accent, a Scottish accent, can I do voiceover? Do you just have to sound so neutral and plain, so that everyone can understand you everywhere in the world? No, absolutely not. There really is. I promise you, there really is space for every single type of voice in this industry. Are you going to get every job? Absolutely not. Am I going to get every job? Absolutely not, right? But, let me have a look at the email I got today with my booking for tomorrow. I wonder if it gives me a description of the brief of the voiceover. Because, no, it doesn't. It says script to follow. Because what I'm doing for this next voiceover job is it's a bit of an e-learning project where it must be for a company who are teaching people how to deal with customers on the phone or whatever. I basically just have to, I'm going to be recording this from my studio that I'm going to show you in a second, that's in my wardrobe. And I have to play like a hapless kind of confused person in IT who doesn't know what he's doing. And I'm ringing the helpline going help me. I don't know what I'm doing. My computer's crashed or whatever. I've not got the script yet, but it's something along those lines. I'm using my regular accent, which to most people is just a general northern accent. There'll be nothing wrong with me having a more northern accent or me having a Geordie accent or a Scottish accent. I'm just playing a human being. It's not an advert. It's not where I'm saying, there's never been a better time. It's not one of those kind of, proper salesy, voicey adverts. This is just an e-learning project that's still worth a few £100, and I'm booked for half an hour from 3:30 till 4:00. Anyone on here, you're all actors. Anyone on here could do that. You could all do that regardless of what accent you've got. It doesn't matter what accent you have, at all. But a lot of actors don't even try because they think that having an accent means that they can't do voiceover. So that's the first thing that I want to get people over, the first hurdle. Michelle, good evening. Hope you're well. David, hope you're good as well, mate. The first hurdle is generally accents. The second hurdle is I don't have a posh studio. I don't have all the kit. I'm not dead technical. Now, you need to get a little bit technical, but only a little bit. You need to teach yourself that. If you can basically watch a YouTube video, you can learn how to set up some basic voiceover equipment. You're going to see in this little clip my kit. I've been working in voiceover for 15 years. I've only set up a makeshift home studio during COVID. So I wasn't going to go to town and just, buy loads of extra kit. This was stuff that I already had, but it works bloody brilliantly. And the quality is superb from my wardrobe. Check this out, and let's get you over your technical hurdles and your excuses of how you don't have enough money for it all, because it's not expensive in the grand scheme of things. I've recorded adverts for multinational companies in this setup, right? So just before we begin and we dive into gravy for the brain, don't get caught up in going, I cannot do voiceover because I don't have loads of money and I don't have a load of kit, right? Here is my setup. Look at that. So that's my corner wardrobe, right, from IKEA. What I do, I open both doors out. I've got a studio arm there that just, I don't know if you can even make it out, just basically clamps onto one of my shelves in my wardrobe. And then what I do, I run a USB cable across the floor. Now, I don't even have an interface for this, right? Because an interface effectively is a bit like a sound card. What they've done on some more modern microphones, and normally I wouldn't recommend just a USB mic. I would get, a mic with an interface. But they build like the interfaces within the mics now. This is something called a Rode NT USB. It's like 130 quid, 140 quid. I think they've just gone up a little bit in price because they're a bit rare at the moment, because everyone's obviously recording stuff from home. So it doesn't even require an interface. It goes into my MacBook, and I use a piece of software that's $37 a month called Source Connect to connect to the studio over the internet. And then when I get in there, Peter, I've not got a photo of this because I would have to be in it, but when I get in, I shut the doors so that they kind of close on each other and just shut me in a square. And it sounds...
Oh, I see. I wondered how you did that.
Yeah,
you could even... do you not get a little bit of reverb off the back of those doors, or is it fairly good?
It's a different material, no, because it's not like... It's almost like a soft... it's not like the veneer on the front of the wardrobe. It's like that grey colour's a little bit softer. I get the mic right near the clothing. And people have actually commented and going, oh, where are you? What mic are you using? It sounds great. And sometimes I'm a little bit embarrassed to go, well, I'm using an NT USB and I'm in my wardrobe. But they're so surprised, and I'm doing I did some voiceover today for some radio adverts. I'm doing some TV adverts tomorrow for a holiday company that have some COVID-19 stuff to add to them. And I'm going to do them from there. And they will be played out on the TV, guys, and no one will have a clue that I wasn't in a major studio that would cost. That studio we sat in, Nigel's studio, Hackenbacker, £1 million, wasn't it, Studio One, to soundproof it. That 160 quid. You've got it. So don't get hung up on the technology, guys. Boom. So literally, I work from a wardrobe, as you've seen. It's not posh. It's not £1 million. It's not any like incredible soundproofed building or room that I'm in. It's very basic, but it works an absolute treat. It really does. And I dial into studios all over the world via a piece of software that cost me $37 a month called Source Connect. You can research that online if you want. And that's it. Literally, I have my MacBook, I have Source Connect, I have a USB, NT USB microphone by Rode, which I would recommend to everyone when you're starting out. It's a superb microphone. And some clothes in my wardrobe, to use as soundproofing, and it sounds great. So, yeah, don't get yourself too caught up in the technicalities and convincing yourself that it's not practical for you to do it because you don't have £1 million to spend on your setup. You do not need it. Again, if you want to listen to the full 2-hour chat there, atsonthis.tv/trial. If you've never been a member before, you can go and get a trial for £1. If you've been a member or you've had a trial, don't try and game the system. The system will detect you. That happened this morning, really. It was a little bit embarrassing. It just cancelled someone who had taken a trial out last week, cancelled, and tried to take another trial out this morning, and all gets a little bit embarrassing. People try and game the system with different email addresses and they forget they're using the same payment information and cards, and the system's very clever and goes, what are you doing? Why are you taking the piss? Don't take the piss. Try to help you. So yeah, if you've never had a trial, get a trial. You're more than welcome to one, and you'll be able to join us tomorrow night. So what else is going down then? What else do you want to talk about for the next? We've got like 20 minutes. We can discuss what we're going to be doing tomorrow night with Lizzie Ferguson from Hamilton Adele, what you guys would like me to cover. I haven't created the slides for tomorrow yet. You know, obviously I create slides for these presentations, and me and the guests will talk like 30 minutes before we do a Q&A. Is there anything that you guys would like me to delve deep into during that? So that, you know, we can then maybe go even deeper during the Q&A, or like, you know, there's something that everybody wants to know about that would be really useful for us to just have a little bit of a deep dive in, you know, for like 20 minutes at the start of tomorrow. I think this will be, like I say, just an incredible education because, you know, the big agencies do just work in a very different way to the smaller agencies, because as in Hamilton Adele, for instance, Hamilton Adele, there's 8 agents. In places like United and Independent and Curtis Brown, sometimes like 21, 22 agents, as in offices. And then, you know, sometimes there's agents who work in pairs, other times there's agents who work on their own with an assistant. It's a big, big business. And one thing Lizzie was saying is when people go and visit her, Marcelo, let us know what your meeting was like with Lizzie initially, because she says she sees it in actors' eyes when they walk through the door to see her, that they're shitting their pants. They're just like a quivering mess because they're like, oh my God, this is such a big agency. These people are so high powered. And she's like, look, we're just normal. So one thing we really want to get across tomorrow is that these people are just as approachable as the agents who are a little bit smaller. You know, and we're certainly not saying there's no agent's better than any other agent in terms of like, you know, no one's better than anyone, no one's a better person than anyone else or anything like that. These guys just work at a slightly different level. But actors do kind of like fall apart, I think, when they go for meetings with the bigger agents than they would do with some of the smaller ones. So if you want to sort of cover that and what to talk about in meetings, that would be probably useful. Let me know now, actually. This would be really useful for me if you don't mind helping me out. I just want to know I'm delivering tomorrow what you want, because this is such a rare opportunity that I want everyone to come away with what they need. So let me know what you would like to know, and I'll maybe put the slide deck together tomorrow to cover these things early on, so we know some of the most common stuff is answered tomorrow. Anna, how you doing? Didn't know you were here. Indra's here as well. All right, mate. Hope you're well. Caitlin, always good to see you. Caitlin's always hustling. So yeah, let me know what you would like, and I'll wait for the question to come through. The age of actors they take, is it specific? It's a good question, David. Yeah. This is something. Yeah, I mean, like we can definitely talk about. I mean, people like Marcelo. Marcelo, did you get rep from Hamilton Adele off the back of drama school, mate? Because you're young, aren't you? If you're not, you look young, mate. So whatever you're doing, keep doing it because you look really young. But yeah, obviously they will. I discussed this with Lizzie the other day. You know, they will often, you know, see students progress through drama school and get excited about them. And then they will see them evolve over 6 to 8 shows over that year, watch them in the showcase, and they'll sign them from that, obviously with no experience in the industry as of yet. But that's not because they're no experience. That's because they've seen them evolve over a year, and they know that they're commercial. They can you know, obviously work with them. But equally, agents of this size, without a doubt, they have to be signing people of all ages because they rep such strong, you know, talent. Then, you know, not everyone's going to go into the agency from drama school. Some of them won't have even trained. So, you know, they're going to have to rep and be open to opening their lists to people of all ages at all times. It's just, again, going to come down to whether you, you know, you excite the agent or not, whether they see something in you. I don't think age, again, I think for so many people, age is such a limiting belief. around, whether someone is commercial or not, whether someone's, I'm still on the shelf kind of thing. I'm just a massive believer in that. It's cliched, isn't it? But age is nothing but a number. I really, really do believe that is the case. And I don't think if you look back over the history of some of the biggest actors in the world, people like Morgan Freeman, he was well in his 50s before he landed his first role. Harrison Ford I think he was a carpenter, wasn't he, till about 34, 35, which isn't old in that case. But there's been some people who have been like well in their 60s, 70s, till they've even decided they're going to do this. But they just had something, man. So I don't want anyone to be thinking about age. It's just a limiting belief that will just hold you back without a doubt. Do you know what? I'm reading a fantastic book, by the way. And I think this really is a fantastic book by Ryan Holiday called The Obstacle is the Way. And it's a way of teaching yourself how to change your perception to things that you perceive right now as obstacles or as reasons for why you can't, and our limitations. And it's to stop you arguing for your own limitations, because society will do that for you to a certain extent. And if you're doing it for yourself, it's just going to really screw you up. And I started reading it last night, and I was like, oh my God, like by page 2, I was like, this is life-changing. Ryan Holiday, The Obstacle is the Way. I'm listening to the audiobook, to be transparent with you. I'm not reading. I like to listen. I like to get into bed and have like an hour where I just like listen and learn, expand my mind. Adrian says, hi, just took advantage of your £1 7-day trial. Will be busy seeing all that's offered to members. Adrian, awesome to have you on board, mate. Honestly, means the world. You'll get an email now, and in the email from me, it will have a link to the intro video, mate. It is quite long. It's about 15 minutes. But after this, go watch the intro video, and it'll show you what's going on, because as part of your membership, you get a shit ton, mate. So you're going to get access to the live call that we have every week with a top casting director, a top agent, a top actor, writer, producer. You get one of those every single week. You also get every other Friday, you get something called Rapid Fire Fridays, which is a coaching session on Fridays with me personally. It's a group coaching session. We all jump online once every other week. So that's happening this Friday. You also get a networking event on the first Saturday of every single month. That's online again. We normally have like 100, 150 actors jumping online for that. You get to meet loads of actors in the community, pick their brains, get support. It's just like a social as well, just to make you feel less alone in this industry. Because sometimes if your mates aren't actors, it can feel a little bit shit. Like, oh my God, no one gets it. No one understands me. So you get that as well. You've also got the Vault. So you've got a back catalogue of literally dozens and dozens and dozens of previous past masterminds that we've done with some of the biggest names in the industry. Podcasts and video interviews that I used to record before COVID, before when we were actually allowed in the same room as each other. They'll be starting up again at some point down the line. But for now, everything is online. So there's an awful lot. Don't get overwhelmed, mate. There's no order to take anything in. If you're looking for an agent right now, go into the agent section and consume the agent stuff. If you want to get in front of more casting directors, go into the casting director section, watch more casting director stuff. Same with directors, same with just, different areas of the industry. You'll find a section on each. Don't get overwhelmed. But yeah, kick the tires for £1, mate, for 7 days. You can cancel anytime if you want, but I promise you won't want to. And then if you want to stay on and be part of the community, mate, it's £6 a week, man. It's just nothing. You would spend more than that on a brew and a pan au chocolat at Costa Coffee if you have your breakfast there in the morning. So awesome to have you there. And that goes for anyone else. That's on this.tv/trial. If you've never had a trial, go and get one now. I want to see you on the webinar tomorrow night. So let's dive into these questions then. Chris, have you got a question? I always struggle to address stuff to people if there are multiples. What was that for? Is that when you're emailing and there's more than one person in the office? Is that what, was that the question? So is it best, Natalie says, to target a specific agent at the big agencies or keep it general to all of them? That is definitely something we're going to ask. Now, I know from my own experience, and I know a few agents at these places, it's agent specific in terms of, no, it's agency specific. So some will like you applying to the specific agent. Others have a general address, which will be like agents at or office at or submissions at, whatever their web address is. And some will literally distribute your stuff to all agents, and generally the assistants will look at it if there's an opening on their list, or they'll have a look at everybody. Sometimes in their weekly meetings as well, they have like huddles where all the agents get together, and sometimes on a Friday they go, right, we're going to share these that have come in this week. Anybody looking for such and such a thing, if something has sparked their interest. Whereas other agencies, yeah, they like you to do your research on who the agents within the agencies are, and then target specifically if you think they're a match for you. So some agents within the agencies will only rep, for instance, mostly musical theatre people or theatre people. Now, if you want to work in TV and film, not a lot of point really in applying for their list because they don't specialise in that. Some will specialise across the board. Others will have a speciality, and you can generally tell what that speciality is, even if it's not listed, by reverse engineering it, looking at their clients and then going, what are they working in? Go on their IMDb, see what they're working in, or do it the other way around, which I like. Find your favourite actors in the favourite shows, in the stuff that you really genuinely see yourself in, not just stuff you wish you were in, like as in like you've really fit it in your casting type. Find out who their agents are. So you go to the show on IMDb, you look at the actor that you really like, and you find out who their agent is, and then you can do it that way. So you go, right, okay, well, those agents must have really strong relationships with this casting director because their clients are always in the stuff that they cast. It can be a lot of detective work when you're figuring out agent stuff, but we will be discussing that definitely with Lizzie tomorrow. We can 100% get to that question. What else have we got on here? All these comments. I'm sorry if I'm missing stuff. God, there's a shed load of comments just come through. But yeah, let me know what else. Is it best to stay with a small, good agency or move to a big agency if you get the opportunity? Again, and always an interesting one, isn't it? And I see it all the time, and I understand why smaller agencies will get annoyed, but I think this is just par for the course. You get an actor who is nurtured by an agency for a while. When they first start their career, they get the first few jobs, and then they might get a breakout role in something and get a job that generally changes the trajectory of their career. And that can open a door at one of the bigger agencies, and 9 times out of 10, I see these actors, and I don't blame them, I see these actors jumping to the bigger agency, and I think that's just probably like, you know, a necessary evil in the industry. It feels like you're kind of like turning your back on the old agent, or you're being disloyal, and that's just because we are the product. I think in any other walk of life, it's a lot easier to go to a different supplier, isn't it? You know, like if you're changing your electricity company, you don't really feel guilty about it when you ring up SSE and go, hi, yeah, I'm actually moving to Octopus or whatever that, what's that one that someone keeps trying to get me on? I think it's Octopus or something, some like weird one. It's supposed to be a lot cheaper though. And yeah, you don't really feel guilty about that because it's just your electricity. I'm sure if you're a plumber and you want to get your tools from somewhere else, you don't feel shit about that. But when you're an actor and it's getting your auditions from somewhere else, we do feel a bit shit about that because we're human beings and we are the product. So it feels like you're in a bit of a relationship and you're dumping somebody, which is not the case. It is just the trajectory of most people's careers. That's how it goes. And I'm sure it's frustrating for agents when that happens, but you know, then they're going into the industry with their eyes open, aren't they? You know, it's bound to happen, but we can definitely discuss that because I'm sure it doesn't work every time. I'm sure some people regret the move and then they end up moving back, you know, and they're just like, right, I'm sorry about that. Any chance I can come back? But that's why I think if you're just always honest and open, I've got such a good relationship with Jane, always honest with her, my agent, Jane Hollywood. Love it a bit. It's a great agent. I've sat down and I've had really like honest conversation with Jane going, Jane, I don't know if this is time for me to go or not. And we've sat there and discussed it, and there's been no animosity or like weird feelings. And sometimes, like when I've had wobbles in the past, and I've gone, "Oh God, Jane, I think I should go. And then and then I haven't. Like I've gone, I'm really sorry. Yeah, I probably was just being a bit rash. She's gone, look, it's fine. I totally get it. Like she just gets it. So I think if you have a really open relationship with your agent and you just like, you're just dead honest. Nothing really kind of goes wrong. There's no worst case scenario or like disaster where suddenly it's like, right, I hate you. I can never see that happening with me and Jane at all. We've known each other so long. Like we just get it. And she puts up with me. That's the thing. I'm like, I always say to her like, thank you. Just thank you for putting up with me because I know this must be like, I'm not the easiest client to deal with. So I think, yeah, if you just, you have a great relationship with those smaller agencies, Sharon, if the time does come to move on, it's all good, No, it's not going to kill anyone, is it? Nat says, I got a response from an agent at Hamilton Adele after a general submission to their office. Assistant came to one of my shows. Then the agent came to my showcase. Didn't go any further, but it's a start. It is a start. And you should definitely not think that's the end of it either, Nat. So, like, I've had it in my career on a couple of occasions where, I've not had loads of agents, but I've never signed with an agent off the bat first time. It's always been after a resubmission, sometimes 3, sometimes 6 months down the line. So don't think, right, this journey is over. Sometimes it can just be. My voiceover agent was the same. It was a no. And then 3 weeks later, out of the blue, the general Northern Voice, who I happen to know, serendipitously, total fluke, at the agency, was emigrating to Canada. Suddenly a space came up on the books. It was just easy to go, right, Ross, we're going to take a chance on you. And that's what it was. They literally said, you're going to do this job. And this is like your probation thing. Like, you either do this job well or we don't take you on. So like, I was like, right, I've got to do this well. That was 15 years ago. I've only ever had one voiceover agent and they're amazing. They changed my life. I'm so grateful to the Voiceover Gallery. Voiceover Gallery, shout out to you. That came up completely right place, right time. However, I was prepared to take that opportunity. That's the thing. You've always got to be match fit. You've got to be ready. So right place, right time. I know I've said it loads of times, but it's not. It's opportunity meets preparedness. If you're not prepared to take the opportunity when it arises, you can never be in the right place at the right time. It's not luck. You were ready for it. So don't give up on that, Natalie. You could definitely, get a yes further down the line from the same agent. No problem. What else is going on here? Brenda says, with agents, I think you start in primary school and graduate to university. Yeah, it does feel like that, doesn't it? It's like you start off in play school. Like when I was 15 with an agent, there wasn't kind of really an agent. They were just, they were, but it was just really for background work and stuff like that. And then, you kind of like graduate, don't you? And you move up through the years. And it is ultimately, you want to end up in the Premiership. So it's like football leagues as well, you get a promotion every now and again. Occasionally, we get relegated. Do you need to have a good profile to look at applying for bigger agencies? I think you definitely need some, Esther. In terms of these big agencies, you need either lots of consistently good work in smaller stuff, and they can see you're ready for a breakthrough, or they pick you up early on in your career when you're just fresh out of drama school, and they're like, right, we're going to shape you. But again, it's a question we can ask. I don't know. It'd be interesting to know, like, what was the least experienced client, that maybe Lizzie's contemplated taking on or has took on, and just for what reason. Maybe it is just a gut feeling, where there is no proven track record to back up how successful that person's going to be. But I see sometimes myself, I go to Monologue Slam when it's on, probably not going to be on for years now. But sometimes I'll see someone and they're not repped, they've never trained, but they get on a stage and you just go, fucking hell, like, you just get it. You just get, there's something where, for me, what it is I relax. When I see somebody and I'm like, I just want to watch this, sort of like breathe out. Sometimes I get nervous. I think as an actor, sometimes it's hard watching other actors because you know what's going through their head. It's quite difficult to just be an audience member. I can't watch anything without looking for continuity flaws or like people, stumbling over stuff or not doing things right. I'm getting better at it, but sometimes as an actor, you can't help. You can't just watch something subjectively. I'm always not subjectively. Is that right? Objectively, whatever the word is. But yeah, I've seen some people at Monologue Slam, and I've gone, God, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy this performance. I feel like I'm in safe hands. And when you hear about them, they haven't done anything. So they've just been born with it somehow. So yeah, I mean, imagine if I was an agent and I saw somebody like that, proper raw talent, I'd be like, right, okay, maybe I'll help you out. Getting an agent seems far away, says Sandra. I'm very happy to be in this community because it keeps my head and keeps me going on. That's what it's all about, Sandra, definitely. That's what Acts on This is all about. And yeah, you're not, again, agents might seem far away, but the work you've been putting out, Sandra, I've seen it, it's quality. Sandra's been putting out some really interesting videos she's shot in lockdown where she's played multiple characters in the same scene and very cleverly had them edited together. So she's sat next to herself in a scene, acting against herself. The timing, I don't even know how you figure out the timing of that because it's very, very good. But yeah, I don't think you're far away from an agent, Sandra, at all, if the right person saw that sort of stuff. Valerie is here, says, I've been looking for a female actor in the late 70s to 80s for a short film I've written and producing. We'll shoot, hopefully, in August. Find it difficult to find the age bracket. Should have some resemblance to me, shooting in Brighton on Southeast. No, Brighton, sorry, so Southeast. Actors as easier for rehearsals. So if anyone can help Valerie Dent out, find Valerie in the Facebook group. I'm sure you're in there, Valerie, aren't you? You can drop her a message. If you are a female actor, 70s, 80s, and you want to be in Valerie's short film or be seen for it, drop her a message. Awesome. Callum says, how soon is too soon to send another email after a rejection from an agency? Good one. Great question, Callum. That's definitely something we'll get asked. We'll ask tomorrow, mate. I've done it when I've had something fresh to say. So sometimes, I mean, I'd probably leave it 3 months. But if I've got something new, or, I mean, God, you know what? If suddenly you get an offer or you get an audition or some kind of screen test for something a week after you've had a no and you're still not repped, and it looks like you've got a great opportunity to land a big TV job because you've somehow got it off your own back, you want to use that. I know friends of mine who have used that as currency, and they've gone back to the agent and said, I know it was a no, but I've got this job now. Would you negotiate the fee for me? You don't have to rep me, but it's just going to look better negotiating a fee coming from an agent. And sometimes the agent's gone, yeah, I'll do it, and I won't take any commission, but I'm still not repping you, which is just a really nice thing to do. Other times they've gone, wait a minute, okay, I will, and I will take a commission on it, and we'll try and work with each other for 3 months. So I think it depends. If something good is happening, then apply again straight away. But if nothing's changing, yeah, wait until you've got something fresh to say. And I think maybe 3 to 6 months later. That's what I've tended to do in my career. And there is as well. Yeah, Andrew's just reminded us there is a Facebook page, a group for the over 40s, Valerie. It's called Act Your Age. I think Steve Connolly runs it, who's in the Act on This community as well. Steve Connolly, so check him out. But yeah, he might be able to help you out with an actor in that age bracket you were looking for. What else have we got? Chris Everett says, I really want to see Ross's showreel. Yeah, mate, go over to my Twitter. It's pinned to my top of my Twitter. Twitter's at Ross A. Grant. And you'll see it there. And again, it shows you the power of having something pinned to your profile as well. I've only had that up there since February, but it's had about 15,000 views. Just because it's my pinned tweet. So it'll stay at the top of your profile. So if people are checking your profile out, if you pin your showreel to your top tweet, then everything you tweet afterwards won't get it won't kind of like push it down your feed. It'll just stay there. So yeah, by all means, Chris, give me your feedback. Let me know your thoughts. Always up for improvement. Such an interesting debate, says Marcelo. I actually wrote to Hamilton and L way back, and the only reason Lizzie could get in touch with me after seeing me in a show was because I had written to her. Boom. So Lizzie had seen you in a show then, and then was like, who is this guy? Can't get in touch with him, but then you reached out. Is that what you're saying, Marcelo? That was meant to be there, wasn't it, mate? That was like, that was just absolutely supposed to happen. Definitely. And you'd written to the agency. Okay, so the agency in general, not to Lizzie direct. And Nat says, would love to know if there's any common trait that she thinks all her clients have, apart from being bloody good. I want to talk about list sizes as well, because I think there's a bit of an unwritten rule in a lot of agencies that list sizes per agent don't go above kind of 30-ish. I always see kind of what I like about the bigger agencies is their client lists are very small and they stay small. Some boutique agencies, though, are very small. I mean, Natalie Payne is another great agent we had on. She's a kind of London and Manchester-based agent, got clients working in fantastic stuff. Natalie's brilliant. But I think she said she only has 35 clients and she gets roughly 55 applications a day. So she's saying she gets more people wanting rep every day than her entire client list. So yeah, I think when they keep them small and they just keep all their actors in work, that's, it's good for everyone, isn't it? Nick says he watches drama performances and thinks, how did you keep a straight face there sometimes? Because you're an actor, Nick. That's what we're doing. We just got to, sometimes I have to just switch off and go, no, I'm going to enjoy this show. I did, you know what? I watched You on Netflix, and that was a show I could get lost in. Didn't think of the acting once. I did, actually. I just thought of, oh my God, I want to be in this show. That was all I thought on that one. But yeah, occasionally I can turn off and just go, I just want to enjoy this as a viewer, not as an actor. Definitely. Andrew says 30 sounds a lot of clients. Yeah, but you've got to imagine at least half of them are going to be in employment, aren't they, at any one time? So that would leave, if I was an agent, I'd do it like that. I think 30 is enough. 30 is manageable. Half in employment, maybe 15 to look after and find work. And I'd probably have an assistant as well, to junior agent to help me out. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting chat. So do join us. Yeah, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. You're going to need to get an Act on This membership to join us. But if you get yourself over to actonthis.tv/trial, if you've never had a trial before, go and get one. It's £1. You'll get access to the site for 7 days. You can kick the tires. You can find out why it's so amazing and why you wish you would have done it years ago. That's the feedback I get generally 90% of the time. It's holy shit, why didn't I know this existed years ago? And I'll tell you why you didn't know it years ago, because I just haven't been shouting loud enough about it, which is why I'm going to, from now on, I'm just going to, you have to just bear with me if I sound like I'm pushing it quite hard now. Existing members, you're like, Ross has changed. No, I need to tell people about this. I've put my freaking heart and soul into it in my life for 10 years. And I feel that I deserve to shout a little bit about it. So please help me. It would mean the world if you two would tweet about it, would Facebook about it, would tell your friends about it, and bring people into the community. Just would love it. I just want to see it. I want to grow it into the biggest, most positive, most motivated community, which I think it already is on the planet, basically. And I can't do that on my own. Just can't do it on my own. I need your help. So it would mean the world if you would help out with that. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you. I'll play the trailer for tomorrow night again. And I will also, if you're a premium member, you will get 2 emails from me tomorrow. You're going to get one at, when will it be? 1:30 p.m. Keep an eye on your inbox. It'll have your Zoom join link in it for tomorrow night's webinar. And then you'll get one 60 minutes before we go live at 6:30. If you don't get those emails, or if you want to go and get your Zoom link now, get yourself over. Here's the website, actsonthis.tv. Click into your members area here. And if you go to the purple one, premium membership, click on that. And then inside here, can you see at the top there, the intro video, and just underneath that, it says upcoming live calls and how to join them. There's 3 sections there. Top section are the weekly live masterminds. That's where you'll find the link for Lizzie. Underneath that, we got Rapid Fire Fridays. They're the member-only Q&As. That's where you're going to find your link for this Friday's Q&A session. And then underneath that, you've got the monthly Zoom social networking event, and that's where you find your link to jump on Zoom on the first Saturday of every month with the whole community, hang out and have a nice time, basically. But look at that there, 101 features. It just says, I just noticed that we're over the 100 mark. That's in terms of the past webinars and podcasts and video interviews you will get access to. You now get over 100 previous features. That's literally 300 hours worth, or it's between 250 and 300 hours worth of acting career advice from the biggest names in the game. I mean, look who we've had on in the last five weeks. Voiceover man Peter Dixon from X Factor and Britain's Got Talent. Daniel Mays was on the week before that. We had casting directors Victor Jenkins and Andy Brierley. I always want to say Brierley then. He doesn't like that. I've got a mate who says it's Brierley. It's not, it's Brierley. He calls himself Brierley, by the way, my friend. I don't mean he's saying Andy's name is Brierley. It's obviously Brierley. Brierley, tomato. Andy Brierley and Victor Jenkins. Then we had Johnny Boutwood from Shaheen Baig's office the week before that. The casting directors for Peaky Blinders. We had Matt Lucas the week before that. Other roundtable features we had recently, the head of Hollyoaks casting, Peter Hunt, on-set acting coach David Crowley. We had the team Boiling Point behind Stephen Graham's new film. Lewis Arnold, incredible director, directed a brand new ITV drama called Des, that stars David Tennant. That we had him on recently. We had David Harewood on recently, Rob James Collier, Ed Spleers, Jason Mazza, awesome producer. Agents like Kate Northern, Janet Hampson. I've got all those agents there, shed loads of agents. There's my voiceover agent as well. Jill Trevellick, casting director for Downton Abbey. Seth Mason, who's Victor Jenkins' casting associate. Rachel Freck, who's just one of the biggest casting directors on earth. Sophie Holland, same again. Faye Timby, Dan Hubbard, Martin Gibbons, Kelly Valentine Henry, Daniel Edwards. I mean, literally the who's who of casting. These guys literally run the fricking industry. If you want to get access to it all for £1, actsonthis.tv/trial. Just go and do it. Change your life. Right. Huge appreciate you. Love you all. And I will play this trailer out again for those who missed it first time round. I need to go through them all and make up the ones I've seen and watch the rest. Well, you'll notice as well, Sharon, you can track it quite easily if you go into a feature. So if you have a look here, this top one, see Peter Dixon's there. See how it's not got a blue tick next to it? If I go into it, and I just watch it, it'll do it for me. But if you want to go through and mark off the ones that you've watched, scroll to the bottom and just click that button there that says mark as seen/heard, and it'll turn blue. Now look what happens when I go back out. we've got a blue tick next to that one. So I can just go through and go, oh yeah, okay, I've seen that one, I haven't seen that one, I've seen that one, I haven't seen that one. And that'll sync on every device. So if you log on it on your phone, it'll still show up as the ones that you've seen and the ones that you haven't. So it's a way for you guys to go, right, I've seen everything or I haven't. That's why that bar on the right-hand side is my progress. So I've currently ticked off 25 of 101 features. Obviously, I created the features, so really it should be 101 of 101. But that's a way for you to keep an eye on actually what you've watched and what you haven't watched. Right, I will definitely get going now. I've been threatening to go for 5 minutes, so I'm going to go. But I will, I will see you tomorrow night. Thank you, Natalie. Says enjoy the voiceover gig. I've just realised it's Wednesday, the voiceover gig, Natalie. It's not even tomorrow. Wednesday, 3:30. But I will let you know how it goes. And yeah, if you are watching this or you watch it on the replay and you want to join us, actonthis.tv/live. /live will get your membership as well. I keep saying that. It's /trial though. It's because I'm only doing this for tonight. actonthis.tv/trial. For your £1 trial, you get access to the whole site for 7 days, just to kick the tires and give it a go. I promise you'll want to stay. And when you go to that, you'll have 60 minutes. Yeah, actonthis.tv/trial, and then you'll have 60 minutes to get your trial. If you wait longer than that, that's your chance gone, I'm afraid. Not being horrible, but I'm here to make you take action and act on this. Right, here's this trailer for Lizzie. She's amazing. She's going to be here tomorrow, and I'll see you there. Can't bloody wait for this. All right, until then, you know the catchphrase. Bye for now. Oh, that's Daniel Mays. Hang on a second. That's just Daniel Mays. This is Lizzie. Actors back once again with another incredible invite for you guys to another incredible actonthis.tv live webinar taking place on Tuesday, the 7th of July at 7:30 p.m. with this amazing woman here, Lizzie Ferguson, agent at Hamilton Haddell, one of London's top-tier acting agencies. Lizzie, thank you so much for doing this. It means the world. What are we going to be talking about on Tuesday?
I think just trying to demystify big agencies and what we do and who we are and the fact that we are normal human beings and no one should be scared or intimidated, and any questions that people have about agents and agenting and how to write to agents, all those kind of questions that no one knows who or how to ask, really.
We're going to be answering them all. And yeah, honestly, I do think like actors are afraid of you guys, working right at the top of the shop. So we're going to be demystifying all of that. You are going to get the chance literally to jump on camera with me and Lizzie. You're going to be able to put your acting career questions to her, anything you like. We're going to be answering everything, basically, and anything that you think will get you further in your acting career faster. If you want to get involved with this, get yourself over to actonthis.tv/live for full details of this webinar and future webinars. I do this every single week with a top agent, actor, casting director, writer, producer, director. Get yourself involved. We're doing some incredible stuff. Lizzie, little bit of pressure. I ask every guest this on these little teasers. Like, why don't actors want to miss this one?
Well, I think everyone's going to have a 2-day hangover from the pubs being opened on Saturday. So what else do you have to do?
Exactly. If you're nursing a hangover or not, it doesn't matter. Be there and be sensible in the pub. Actonthis.tv/live. We'll see you there.